number 2015-160E. I move that we approve South Carolina Electric and Gas Company's request for revised rates to yield additional revenues of $64,526,000. This is a reduction of $5,122,000 from the company's original request. The $64,526,000 figure, let me say that again, $64,526,000 figure reflects actual construction work in progress. Amounts through June 30th, 2015, and is consistent with the recommendations of the Office of Regulatory Staff. The company concurs with this recommendation. Under South Carolina Code Annotated Section 5833-280G, this commission must give substantial weight to any agreement between the company and the Office of Regulatory Staff on the revised rates to be implemented. Although comments were received that opposed the increase, no party disputed the findings of the ORS. Therefore, I move for approval of the revised rates addressed above, effective on October 30th, 2015. I also move that the company file revised tariffs reflecting the rates yielding the approved additional revenue within 10 days after receipt of the commission order in this manner. Madam Chair, I so move.
Thank you. You've heard Commissioner Fleming's motion. Is there any discussion?
Madam Chair.
Commissioner Randall.
Madam Chair, as I was considering the facts and merits of this case, I was focusing on three areas: the law of the state of South Carolina, specifically the Base Load Review Act, the effect of EPA's Clean Power Plan for the state of South Carolina, and our job as commissioners under, as defined by Act 175. When the company and ORS present a settlement, as was indicated in this docket, and no parties disputed the findings as was in Commissioner Fleming's motion, this commission has a very narrow scope defined by law in which to act, and I believe this motion supports this settlement. In complying with EPA's Clean Power Plan, I think weight has to be given to the types of generation needed to meet the goals for South Carolina by the EPA. Standards that are totally out of the control of this commission, ORS, or the company for that matter. Solar power will be a small part of this compliance, but solar is not base load generation, especially when considering the capacity factor of a solar plant, which is about 17 or 18%. Nuclear power, on the other hand, with a capacity factor of over 90%, will be the type of base load generation that will allow South Carolina to comply with federal law set by the EPA. And while the construction of natural gas and the adaptation of coal plants to natural gas are going to be, will probably help some, even with the abundance of shale gas especially. I think gas transportation infrastructure and the growing sentiment against hydraulic fracturing are going to make gas costs very uncertain in the future as a major source for baseload power. Now, I know while it makes for great headlines and sound bites to be against any kind of adjustment in rates, the decisions made by this commission are not taken lightly. There's been a thoughtful and intelligent examination of the facts as they relate to the law of the state of South Carolina and the prudence used by the parties that arrived at this settlement. I think the facts and the law of the state are very clear, so I'm going to support the motion. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Any additional discussion?
Madam Chairman.
Commissioner Whitfield.
I too would like to address the issues in the motion. Commissioner Randall has addressed some things, but I would like to briefly address some issues as well. One being the terms of the statute 58-33-280, which states a utility must be allowed to recover its weighted average cost of capital applied to construction work in progress. 2, the fact that ORS has audited the company's proposed revised rates as required by state law. 3, the terms of the statute that require the commission shall give substantial weight to any agreement between ORS and the company regarding proposed revised rates which is the case here, and 4, the lack of any submitted evidence challenging the substantial weight required to be given to the agreement. Therefore, Madam Chairman, I feel constrained by my analysis of the law and the evidence to support Commissioner Fleming's motion. Madam Chairman, I also believe it to be the most prudent decision for South Carolina citizens, both present and future.
Thank you. Any additional discussion? Okay. You've heard Commissioner Fleming's motion and the additional discussion. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Nay? Ayes have it, motion carries.